21. That's something that, Vassar's just got to, look at, work on it during the week, during practice, and kind of just bounce back on, because tonight it just wasn't falling for them, and it was partially due to Ithaca's defense, and it was partially due to just them not hitting shots. So it was a tough night from shooting, but, they'll look to go bounce back and kind of improve in practice.
Let's look on the other side of the coin. Ithaca, not known to be a shooting team, 27% on the season. Tonight, 7-20, 35% from three, and most notably, out of all the shooters, were Hannah Polche and Cameron Coffey lighting it up from behind the arc.
Yeah, those two were excellent tonight, both having multiple threes themselves. Ithaca came off a terrible shooting night last time out against Scranton, where they only went 3 for 17, only 17% from the line, but from behind the arc. As you said, 7 for 20, shooting over 35% from the field. It was a great night from the both of them, and for the whole team, and specifically Polse and Coffey.
Certainly, and going forward tonight, two of their top scorers, Emily Dorn and Zoraida, each combined 6 points, and they won by nearly 40 points. How is that possible? That your two leading scorers don't even score 10 points together, not separated, together, and you win by that kind of margin?
Yeah, it was huge tonight. And they combined with 5 total points. That's not what you want to see from your leading scorers, especially if you're trying to, come into Ithaca College and try to get a win against this team. You need your top scorers, and unfortunately for them tonight, they did not show up.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's talk about what they can do better in the future. Tonight, obviously, they did a pretty good job at the free throw line. Obviously, they shot the ball well. Do you think they're going to be able to use this going forward?
Yeah, I think this is a big momentum booster, kind of like what we talked about at halftime. Basketball is a lot about momentum. You get your morale up, you get your shots falling, and you feel good. You feel good. You want to keep on taking those shots. Tonight, Ithaca shot the ball really well, and I hope and I think that they can keep this, shooting momentum going in the future, and kind of look to keep on shooting the ball efficiently.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. And going forward, Ithaca is going to have quite a task to repeat as Liberty League champions again. For Vassar, obviously, they start 2-5. What do you think they can do to turn their season around?
We talked about some key focuses going into the game tonight. Vassar getting rebounds. They needed to score early, and both of them, they just did not. They got out-rebounded, and early in the first quarter, kind of like what we talked about, they got outscored 16-5. They never won a quarter, and they never scored double-digit points in a quarter. But for Vassar, it's going to be about kind of controlling the rebounds. Even though they didn't do a terrible job tonight, they only got out-rebounded by 11, and I'm saying that as in, that's not as bad as I thought it would have been coming in here. But mainly it's kind of just getting rid of the second chance points. Ithaca had a bunch of those tonight, and kind of just controlling the boards and starting out strong. They started scoring a lot, Vassar did, towards the end of the game. They had more points that they did in the second half than in the first. It's kind of just keeping that rhythm the entire game and getting the points down.
Yes, certainly. All right, we're about to wrap up here. Connor, who do you got for your game MVP?
For me, it's got to be Carolyn Coffey. I mean, it was your X factor coming into this game. She started off the game hot, and she just set the tone for Ithaca, and ended the game with 15.
Yeah, my MVP has got to be Cameron Coffey. My surprise player has got to be Hannah Polche. Obviously taking advantage later down the stretch, but a very impressive performance. But Connor, I think that's all we got for today. Before we sign off, just want to say for everybody that was involved today, I want to thank Justin Lutz, the Sports Information Director, and everybody else part of the Athletic Communications Department for their cooperation in making this broadcast possible. That's all we got for you today, but don't go anywhere. The Bombers men's basketball is coming up shortly. Dean Gutik and Toby Zabore will be on the call, so don't go anywhere. Bombers men's basketball coming up soon, but that's all we got for women's basketball. Connor Smith, Jack Casello signing off. We'll see you guys next time.
That's all right. The hot mic on? No, the gain is. Let me make sure.
Are we gonna be able to hear them in the studio? When do you think we should put on the headsets?
Whenever we're ready, because there's no one in the studio.
Okay.
It's just us here.
So, do you want to do it in 5 minutes, or do you want to do it in 6 or 7?
We could do it in a little less than 5. So let's do like 4 or 3.
Sure? Alright. Let's do it, man. Let's see what's being annoying. I'm trying to turn her off.
Alright, yes, mics are on.
Do you have the live stream to send it to me so it's up to my mom?
Yeah, here, I can turn the game down.
It's a cold evening in Ithaca, New York, but we have a heated men's basketball matchup in the Ben Light Gymnasium between Ithaca College and Vassar. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Blake Cashman alongside Toby Zavore. I just wanted to ask you, Toby, how you feeling today?
You know, Blake, I'm feeling pretty good. It's the Bombers and the Brewers. They're kicking off conference play here from the South Hill. We enter the portion of the schedule for these two teams, you know, the Bombers and the Brewers, that really truly matters. This is what's going to determine a lot of that late season seeding, who gets into the Liberty League tournament, who gets that top seed, who gets to host the Liberty League tournament. And these are two teams that were right neck and neck down the stretch last year, only separated by a few games, a few, wins in that regard. The Bombers held a slight lead over Vassar down the stretch last year. That's what got them to that 2 seed. Almost had them hosting this tournament, went to Troy. If you're Ithaca, you want to hold on, get through this Liberty League schedule and host the tournament right here from the South Hill. If you're Vassar, you want a statement Liberty League win here tonight.
Toby, coming into this matchup, how have the Bombers been so far?
You know, they've been fairly good to this point. They've 3-2 so far this season. They've come in on a 3-game winning streak. They started the season a little bit cold. They lost their first 2 games to SUNY Cortland and Montclair State. That Montclair State game came on the road during Cortica Week as part of the IC in the City campaign. Then they went on to face Centenary, and they won that one on the road in New Jersey as the latter part of the IC in the City campaign. And they've won their last 2 with resounding wins on the road in Keystone down in Pennsylvania. And then they beat Susquehanna University here earlier in the week on Tuesday at Ben Light Gymnasium in a resounding win. That one came in 84-67, a Bombers win over the Hawks. A massive game, especially led by some of their star players, which we'll get into in a little bit. They've been a fairly strong team shooting the ball. They're second in the Liberty League when it comes to field goal percentage. They're third when it comes to field goals themselves. Second in threes, fourth in three-point percentage. They're third in points, third in assists. This is a team that can point up points and run up the score on any opponent they're facing. Defensively, they've been a little bit shaky, and that's what really cost them against Cortland and Montclair State earlier in this season. But they've gotten to a point where they've cleaned it up a little bit. They're still not all that great. They're around middle to bottom tier of the conference when it comes into that, but it's still early in the season, and if there's any game where you're going to come in and look to fix that and make a change, it's this one here tonight.
Toby, as you already mentioned, who for the Bombers is a key part of success for the squad?
You know, for the Bombers, you look at some of their top players in this one. Obviously, number one is going to have to be their points leader and probably one of their, most impactful players. That's Luka Radovich. Radovich, the graduate student from Cresskill, New Jersey. The transfer from Fordham University came in from D1 and has dominated here at Ithaca. He leads the team in points with 106. He is top 5 in the conference when it comes to field goals at 44 and in field goal percentage at 519. He's top 10 when it comes to threes and three-point percentage. He has been incredibly solid, but you look to the other side, Logan Wendell had a career day in their last game against Susquehanna. He came in, put up 24 points, 2 threes. That was a career high for him in points. That 24 led them to that 84-point win over the Hawks. He was such a big part of that game. And then you look some other players. Skylar Steinen, he has not played to this point this year, but he's going to be one of those impactful players, even off the bench, where his presence will be felt as a leader on this team. And they look to other players you're going to be seeing on the court. Zach Warwick has made an impact so far this year. Another graduate student on this team. One of the 4 graduates that this Bombers team has a lot of experience. He comes in 145 minutes. That leads the team. He leads the Liberty League to this point in three-point percentage at 636. He leads the Bombers in threes with 14 at this spot in the season. He has been incredibly solid. You look throughout, this is a team full of a lot of leaders and a lot of players who can shoot. We've talked, I talked a little bit about how this team likes to run up the score. These players are the reason why.
Now, as you've already mentioned, Toby, the defense, of course, needs improvement. What from their defense really needs improvement?
Well, it's going to be stopping a lot of shots, and if you're going to be wanting to stop a lot of shots, this is the team you're going to be playing. Vassar, worst in the Liberty League in field goals. They're worst in field goal percentage, 8th in threes. They are 9th in three-point percentage, 10th in points. This is a Vassar team that just does not shoot very well, and if you're the Bombers, you're going to look to take advantage of that and really, play your strongest defense. I really think a big key in this game, and I'm going to get into that a little bit, is make this game a shootout. shootout. Force Vassar to take shots, and if you're the Bombers defense, as long as you're forcing them to take shots, you know they don't really shoot the ball well. Make them play your game, and then when you get the ball, you play your game as well. So for Ithaca, you're at home, you're controlling the flow, you're already getting a little momentum coming off the psychological aspect of the women's team. Just had a massive win over the Vassar women's team in the game previous to this one here at Ben Light. So I'm going to say for the Bombers, it's play your brand of basketball and force Vassar to play your brand, and don't let them get on their style.
Now, if you turn the tables here, looking at Vassar, how did they compare to the Bombers in this game?
You know, Vassar, they're a team that doesn't shoot well, as I already mentioned, but defensively, they're one of the best in the Liberty League. They are second in field goals allowed. They are fifth in field goal percentage allowed, second in threes allowed, second in three-point percentage allowed, and second in points allowed. This is a team that locks down opponents defensively, doesn't let them shoot, and whatever numbers they put up offensively, it's just good enough. We saw in their last game, you know, it came against Mount St. Mary College at home in the Hudson Valley tournament. They won 61-48. That's not really the offensive dominance that we saw the Bombers put up against Susquehanna in their last game, but that's all they really needed to do was dominate defensively and just put up just enough points to squeak past them on the other side. You look, you know, this is a team that's going to win games defensively. So for Vassar, a big key is that defense, and it's really led by their senior and veteran core. There's a lot of older players on this Vassar team, a lot of guys who have seen a lot of time on the court, who have played big games, and most importantly, have played these Bombers and know how this Ithaca team plays. That's what they're going to need to do.
Well, something huge to note, Toby. Zach Johnson, Vassar's leading scorer, is not dressed tonight and hasn't played all season. Who will step up for Vassar, and how will they impact on both sides of the court to notch a win?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked, you know, Zach Johnson, he's such an impact player for Vassar. You look coming into this, he was the Liberty League Player of the Year last year. He led the team in points with 392. And the fact that he's yet to play is, you know, it's unfortunate for a Vassar team that really needs shooters. But you still have a lot of top-tier talent. You look to their other captain, Avni Mustafa. He's put up 120 minutes, which leads the team. And his 61 points is not a lot, but it does lead this Vassar squad. They're going to be looking a lot to Avni Mustafa to make that impact and be really the top player that they're going to need out there. I'm also going to say, you know, look for Zev Katz to make a bit of an impact. And also you're going to want Kevin McAuliffe. He's second in points so far with 43. You've got Ethan Ellis, who's third at 34. And then you've got Case Parsons. He's going to be another impact player on that Vassar side.
That's all the time we have for pregame coverage for Ithaca College men's basketball as the Bombers prepare for conference play. I'm Blake Casson. Be sure to stay tuned for live coverage with Toby and Dean here on the Bombers Athletic Stream.
over the river and through the woods to the Bombers' house they go. Tonight, the Vassar College Brewers make the journey from the banks of the Hudson to the shores of Cayuga Lake as the Ithaca College Bombers welcome them to the Ben Light Gymnasium and their first game of Liberty League play. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the broadcast booth. My name is Tobias Zabore, and I'm joined today by my partner, Dean Gutic. Dean, how are we feeling tonight?
Very good. Got a big game ahead. 3-1 Vassar, the defending Liberty League champions from last year, going up against Ithaca College. Ithaca 3-2 right now, coming off a huge win against the Susquehanna Riverhawks this past week. And here we go.
Well, we get ready for the tip. The Bombers in their all blue as Radovich tips it to the Bombers. The Bombers will be moving from left to right. Blue jerseys, blue shorts. Meanwhile, Vassar going from right to left in the white shirts and white pants. That ball passed over to the outside to Warwick. He forces the player down. There's a whistle blown, and the ball will now be stopped dead. It'll still be Bombers' ball is going to the outside line. Is Logan Wendell, one of the starters for the Bombers. He had a massive game against Susquehanna as he inbounds it over there to Sikoriak. George Sikoriak III moves to his right, now passes it back to Wendell. Wendell to the top of the key, now moves into the paint. He drives, and it's blocked away by Vassar to go the other way. Moving down the court now is Rothberg, Jack Rothberg. He'll pass it outside. Now for three is Mustafa, and Mustafa nails it. A three-pointer to start the game off. It's 3-0 Vassar.
Great job by Vassar right there, turning defense into offense right there. Mustafa getting a huge three. Vassar up 3-0 to begin this game.
Well, from the top of the key now, the outside is shot by Spellman, and it hits off the rim and bounces out. Vassar will now move it back the other way once again, looking to add on to their lead. It's passed to the top of the zone, and Parsons from the key, he hands it off outside. From beyond the three-point mark there is Rothenberg. He'll pass it inside. The Bombers' defense is there, and it's a turnover by the Bombers. George Sikoriak III. Brought back for Spellman at the top. He'll pass it to the top of the key. For three. Bang! Hits it as Radovich, and the Bombers tie it early here in the first.
Luka Radovich still has the hot hand. Ever since he's dropped 40 points last time against Keystone College, he has been heating up. And mama, that man is on fire.
He knows how to cook as Vassar goes the other way. Mustafa now passes it back to the other side for Ellis. Ellis will look. He'll inbound it now to the inside the three-point mark. Now moving down is Rothberg. He'll take a layup shot and puts it through. Vassar regains the lead as the Bombers send it back quick, trying to put on a quick attack. Now the top of the key again is Radovich. Radovich from inside the paint goes for the layup just a little too far. Rebounded by Vassar, a team that has rebounded well. Top rebounding team in the Liberty League is Vassar.
Vassar doesn't have Johnson, but they still have big bodies that can get the ball and grab off the boards. And that's the key right there for the Bombers to win the battle over the glass.
It's going to be key, and the ball will go the Bombers' way. A foul on Vassar.
Another thing to point out in this game, Tobiah, is mistakes. Both teams they want to win cannot make mistakes, whether it's fouls, turnovers, and right there, mistake right there for the Vassar offense, and an offensive foul right there.
As the Bombers go to our right, DeFort inbounds it there to Sikoriak III. He'll move it back to Radovich. Radovich moves it out to Wendell, who has trouble handling it. Now moves it back. He drives into the lane. Layup, and there will be a foul there. And Wendell draws it, so he'll go to the line, I believe. And he will move to the line. So from the charity stripe, Logan Wendell will look to even this game up for two.
Wendell's so smooth, going to the hoop right there. It doesn't fall, it doesn't drop in the bucket, but just an all-around five-tool player.
Wendell's first shot from the line is nothing but net. He hits it. But now 5-4 Vassar lead over the Bombers. Wendell, you mentioned him as a five-tool player. One of the top players the Bombers have had this year. It's his second shot. It hangs around there for a second, makes us think, but it drops in at the very end.
Like a little pinball action right there. Boop, 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 and just goes down.
That one just decided to hang around for just long enough as the Brewers go the other way. Moving on, it is Mustafa inside the paint. Block! That one by Radovich, but the Brewers rebound and they put the points up on that one. Parsons regains the ball in case Parsons gives the lead back to Vassar. Bombers going the other way. Radovich from outside the arc finds a man is Sikoriak. Sikoriak moves in and dribbling. He passes it into Radovich. Radovich goes up for a layup and it misses. and Radovic on it again. He hits it off the glass and uses the glass as his best friend. It's tied at 7.
You know, Tobias, sometimes they say, like in other sports, the post is your best friend. Right there, the glass was Luka's best friend. He gets the ball, recollects it himself, and puts it in.
He found it on the rebound, and as you mentioned earlier, rebounding has to be huge. As for 3 is Ethan Ellis, and at the shot clock, he doesn't make it in, so the Bombers get a bit of a break, and they get to go the other way. Handing it off now over to Warwick. He goes for the long 3, just can't make it in the Brewers' rebound, and a foul will give Vassar a little bit more space with the ball. And that.
Yeah, Vassar. Bombers try to take advantage right there and try to get a 3 from Warwick, but unable to fall down. Game tied at 7 right now. Still a game. Teams both trying to feel each other early on.
Warwick tried to hit that one from far, as you mentioned, couldn't make it, as Jack Rothberg will inbound the ball from the baseline. Now passes it out for Zev Katz. Katz moves it over the midcourt line as he looks to set something up for Vassar just beyond the 3-point arc. He'll pass it to the top of the arc. Over there for Rothberg. Rothberg drives in with the layup, and he puts it in. Vassar 9, Bombers 7, 16-13 to go.
Tough finish right there from Rothenberg. Just goes to the rim and just attacks and puts it home.
Radovic at the top of the 3-point arc from downtown, and he misses that one, just hits the rim and bounces away. Another rebound for the Brewers. They get the ball right back, as going down is Avni Mustafa, the leader for this Brewers team, and a layup puts it through, and Vassar has a 2-possession lead.
The problem right now for the Bombers, Tobias, is that they're not winning the battle in the paint. Whether it's rebounds, points, they need to win the battle in the paint.
Well, now Wendell tries to make that margin a little less, and he bullies his way in and puts 2 on the board.
Maybe I've jinxed the Bombers right there, but Wendell answering right back. 11-9 Vassar, but a nice bucket right there for Wendell as they respond.
They don't call it the announcer's jinx for nothing, as Vassar now to the top, moves it still beyond the arc. There is Zev Katz. He drives it in, back up top for Mustafa. He moves to the arc, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Bog knocked away by the Bombers. Mustafa still has it, 5 on the shot clock. 4-3 goes Scott. It bounces over towards the line. Oh, and a tough play over by the bench as Vassar tried to kept it in Rothenberg, and he knocks there into Spellman and sends him into the stands.
Little rumble and tumble action right there on the sides, and Spellman, great effort right there from Vassar. Don't get me wrong, they try to get the ball back and keep the possession alive, but the ball will go either way. A little bit of an excessive play right there, as the ball will go the Bombers' way, and Spellman will inbound.
Spellman will inbound, so after getting thrown pretty much into the fans right there by the court, he gets back up and stays on as inbound, and now top of the key for the Bombers. Going to tie it as that one knocks, but a rebound by the Bombers goes through the legs of Sikoriak as he tries to move his way in, and a block by Vassar. Getting up there is Case Parsons.
Vassar defending the paint pretty well. Another block for Vassar that goes to the paint.
That took away points from the Bombers as Mustafa from far passes it back as the Vassars try and set that one up for Parsons. Hits off the rim, and Logan Wendell, right place, right time. He's got the ball moving the other way. He tries to pass it right over to an open Sikoriak, but it goes wide and goes out of bounds.
Ball goes a bit wide. Wendell had the right idea, finding Sikoriak cutting the back door, but just couldn't deliver the ball right there. The Bombers turn the ball over.
Kevin McAuliffe comes in for Vassar, their second substitution so far of the game, as they inbound the ball and move it down the court. Now into the Bombers' territory from the 3-point arc, passes it back to Mustafa. He moves it in towards the paint. There as Parsons tries to go up, looking for an open shot, and he finds it, puts it in. 13-9, Vassar leads.
Little nice play right there from Johnson. Just a little razzle-dazzle right there. A little in and out, and just putting it home.
Now over a deep 3 opportunity, but he'll move it back into the paint. 4-3, and it hits! That one, Liam Spellman from way down yonder makes it a 1-point game for the Bombers.
Liam Spellman from the corner deli store right there on that left side, putting it home, and a huge 3 right there for the Bombers.
From the deli, you said. One of the great broadcasters of all time, the former Mariners radio guy, always said, grab the rye bread and mustard. Well, he tried it there as that one's a deep 3 for Vassar, and they knock it down. Kevin McAuliffe finds it from deep, and 2 deep threes negate each other.
McAuliffe saying, you say that Ryan bread and mustard right there, let me give it right back to you. A big 3 right there for Vassar and a huge response.
Now moving it back the other way, the Bombers, as they try and get some points back on the board. Another 3 hits off the rim, and it'll be rebounded by the Brewers. A deep 3 opportunity missed by Spellman. Vassar from the 3-point arc, passing it back to the top is Parsons for 3, and it clangs off the rim. Now passing a wide open shot for the Bombers. A layup misses. Radovich there again, and Radovich takes what Zakoriak gives him, and he adds a little of his own seasoning, and the Bombers back within striking distance.
From Crest Hill, New Jersey, just cleaning it up right there and putting it back home. Helping out his Crest Hill buddy George Zakoriak. 2-point game now.
Radovich showing why he was recruited out of high school by Fordham University, the D1 program, as from right around the charity line, a missed shot there by Zev Katz. So the Bombers now have the ball going back the other way. As to the top of the key is Wendell. He tries to move it up, now passes it out towards the corner. Radovich has it now. Radovich looking to move into the paint. He passes it out. 3 opportunity from Spellman, clangs off the rim, and it'll go back for Vassar. Mustafa's got it. Avni Mustafa now passes it back. Opportunity for McAuliffe. McAuliffe over to Mustafa. Mustafa from just around the arc right now. Just dribbling this ball out. 11:52 to go here in the first half. Bombers trailing 16-14. Mustafa tries to pass it out. It goes beyond the line. It goes out of bounds. Bomber ball and a missed pass.
Another turnover right there for Vassar. Again, you might be up 2, but you cannot afford to have turnovers like that happen, especially in this type of game right now. The Bombers get the ball back. But the Bombers, they're picking the right shots, but they're just not falling through. Those shots have to fall through.
You know, you might just call it a little bit unlucky, as Luka Radovich will get a break on the bench for now coming in for the Bombers. Noah Downing is part of this substitution group. We also see Jack Stern making his way onto the court as Downing already passing it over to Spellman. Spellman puts it into Stern, and he gets knocked down by the Brewers, and that'll be a foul on number 5 for Vassar Zev Katz.
It's now 5 team fouls right there for Vassar compared to Ithaca's 1. And Ithaca could be heading to the line soon. For Vassar, also got to watch the fouls.
Well, Downing inbounds it over for Wendell. He tries to find an open lane, goes for it, now passes it over for Downing again. Downing knocked up around, and right there it just finds the hands of a Vassar Brewer. And they're going to try and move it over the midcourt line. They do, and it's intercepted, and going out of bounds are the Bombers. Picked off there. It was by Tristan Wernston, but it'll be Vassar ball.
Tristan Wernston, what a beautiful play right there. Nice effort, but just unfortunately just couldn't stay in bounds. Try to do a little football toe drag swag right there, but just couldn't keep it in. But like the hustle right there and like the effort.
Bryce Bleibtree will come in for the Bombers. Out comes Liam Spellman, as it'll be inbounded now. Hanging onto it is Luke Adams for the Brewers. Adams passes it over to the top, and already contested there is Rothenberg. Rothenberg loses the ball around his feet. It'll be a contested ball, jump ball. So it'll be Vassar ball on the jump ball, as Rothenberg lost it between his legs, could not find it, and his only hope was hang on for dear life.
Great effort right there for the Bombers. Try and retrieve that ball. But however, the ball will stay with Vassar on this one.
And that'll be passed over, tries, and a high pass is reeled in by Vassar. Now moving over towards the line. Vassar passing it around. Going over is Adams. He'll pass it to the top. 1 second on the shot clock. It's deflected. The Bombers going the other way. Now having it is Downing. Downing passes it over. A layup, can't find anyone, and it'll be Vassar ball. The Bombers have an opportunity, a quintessential break, and nothing goes.
A crucial missed opportunity right there for the Bombers. It was a 2-on-1. Nice find from Downing to Bleibtree. Bleibtree not able to put that home, and with the 2-on-1 right there, especially with that type of chance, you have to put that ball home. And just another costly opportunity, a wasted opportunity right there for the Bombers.
Just could not find it as Vassar inbounds the ball again. Moving it down the court right now is Rothenberg. Rothenberg will look for his opportunity, passes it around as the Brewers try to find something. A strong defense by the Bombers. Rothenberg for 3 from way deep. It goes in, then decides, I don't want to go into the net. I'll stay out. And a missed 3 for the Brewers as the Bombers move it back into their offensive territory. Contested there was Stern, almost tripped up but hangs onto it. Stern open for the layup. Tie game at 16.
Blimetree finding Stern right there. Little spoon feed, here's the dish and take it, young man. Game tied at 16. Nice finish by Stern.
An amazing job there by Stern, as now moving in Parsons passes the ball over to McAuliffe, who hands it back over to Rothenberg. Rothenberg goes into the paint, and there's going to be a foul. It looks like it'll be a foul on the Bombers. It's a foul there on Bryce Blimetree, and the Brewers will get 2 from the line.
Shoot 2, number 20, Jack Rothenberg.
It'll be Rothenberg for 2 so far this year.
And Rothenberg just sharp going to the hoop, man. And I gotta say, every time he goes to the hoop, he always makes it challenging for the Bombers defense thus far this game.
Well, the transfer from D1 LaSalle has been making it life difficult for the Bombers, as his second free throw finds nothing but net. It's 18-16. Vassar leads as the ball is inbounded back to Downing, the Brookline Mass native. Downing takes it across the midcourt line. Now looking over, finds Gesteicher. He'll be contested, passes it out for 3, bang! Right on it there is Bryce Blimetree, and the Bombers lead again, 19-18 Ithaca.
Bombers needed that badly. Blimetree burying that 3 wide open. He could take all the time in the world right there and just puts it home.
He could make himself a nice dinner out there, and he had all the time he needed as Vassar tries to get back on it. Heavily contested by this valiant Bombers D. It's a deep 3 there by Luke Adams, and once again can't find anything, and again it's Noah Downing making a spectacular play to bring it back. He goes to go all the way and can't throw it in.
If you're the Bombers right there, especially Downing, you do not have to rush every play. Just settle down and let the play unfold. Do not have to rush anything.
A little poke there, but doesn't quite go, as it's knocked down by Rothenberg. Gesteicher poked the ball away but couldn't hold it now, as Downing goes back into the Bomber zone, sends it out to Gesteicher. Now moved over to Blimetree, who hands it back off. Bombers 15 on the shot clock. Moving in is Downing for the layup, gets knocked down, and nothing goes even after the second chance by Stern. And Vassar on a fast break knocked up, and no one had control over it, and the Bombers on a crazy sequence get it right back. Gesteicher from a deep 3, and that one just short as it hits off the rim and bounces right into the hands of a waiting Rothenberg.
And if you're the Bombers, again, you don't have to speed up play. You don't have to take the first shot that you see. Wait for the play to happen and move the ball around. The Bombers, it's 2 shots right there. They just rush and take it.
A deep 3, nailed. Nothing but net for McAuliffe. 23-19. Vassar has regained the 4-point lead that they had lost to the Bombers.
Now, if you're the Bombers, you need to regain, you need to score and go on a run.
Well, a run won't be started there as Blimetree misses a 3. It clangs off the rim. As moving into the paint is Vassar passing it out, and they're going to say his foot was over the line as Ethan Ellis drains a 3, but his foot steps on the line. Bombers will get the ball back, and a bit of a substitution for the Bombers, looking to get some offense back, as out goes Radovich. He'll be in the game, and also so goes Logan Wendell. Blimetree will hit the bench.
Bombers are going to need a spark here. Down 4, 23-19. They need to go on a big run, but also defensively get some stops. And when the defense gets some stops, you need to capitalize on the other way, especially on offense, and the Bombers haven't found that consistent run.
They need to get on something there, as a deep 3 there by Wennerson from the top of the key clangs off the rim. Again, another 3 from right about the same part of the court, and the Bombers have not been able to make it work. Rothenberg, who has been a force to be reckoned with on the court tonight, passes it out. Vassar holds it from way above the key near the Ithaca logo at midcourt. Right on the line there, a 2-shot misses by Luke Adams, so the Bombers go the other way. A fast break, and now slowing it down is Ithaca as Sikoriak moves it around. Trying to go in and force to the floor. Now the Bombers still maintaining possession, passing that ball around. Wendell moves it over Sikoriak. Sikoriak has 12 seconds on the shot clock as he passes it to Radovich, who goes into the paint, and Radovich puts it in. Luka Radovich takes the smart shot, 21-23, and there's a timeout on the floor.
Luca, get in the car and drive by the right side right there, going straight to the hoop, and the Bombers need that bucket right there. A nice move right there by Radovic, just going whoop to the right side, and ball just finds a way into the net.
You know, you said the Bombers have to find a way to go on a consistent run. What do they need to do to make that run actually pan out here tonight?
Get defensive stops, force turnovers, force Vassar to make mistakes, and on the other side, you do not have to rush the play. We have seen a couple of plays, Tobiah, where the Bombers have rushed and missed their shots. Just settle down and play your pace, your style of basketball. You do not have to speed it up in every possession you get.
Well, the timeout will be over from the Bombers as they took their first timeout of the half. They still have 5 remaining. So far as on the court for the Bombers, they break their 5. Vassar breaks their 5, and it will be Vassar ball. Inbounded, moved back over to Rothenberg. And he passes it back again to Mustafa, passes it back to Rothenberg. The passing game for Vassar has been there all night as Mustafa stays low, able to find Ethan Ellis on the far side. Now from the top trying to drive in. As Vassar being able to make this one work, and a layup just misses past over there, and the Bombers get out of trouble against Vassar. Now Gesteicher moves in towards the paint. He tries to inbound it, and he does. Wendell fakes a 3, moves into the paint. It's deflected as he shoots, and so it will not find the net, but instead it finds Vassar.
As I mentioned before, Bombers escape right there. They get the ball back, but again, not able to capitalize. You need to capitalize every time you get a stop from Vassar.
The Bombers trying to get it going and trying to stop Avni Mustafa, who has led Vassar tonight, as he misses a contested shot, and it's brought back over by Gesteicher. He drives into the paint, bodies a man down, and that's going to be a foul as he goes right in on there, but goes in and knocks a man down. And it'll be on Ethan Ellis from Vassar. So Gesteicher gets 2 from the line as he tries to even this game at 23. 5:37 left to go here in this first half. From the foul stripe. And the first one takes a little while to get in there, clangs around a bit, but it does find its way into the net. And Spellman is in for the Bombers. Wernersson is out as they get another player who has been really influential out on the court so far tonight back in this one. As the second free throw, well, that one's just pretty as it can be, finds its way, and we're tied up again at 23. So here comes Vassar from the baseline, now moving it towards the midcourt stripe as they try and get over that line. Contested by the Bombers defense. As to the floor goes Sikoriak. He gets his way back up, no call. Moving his way in is Katz for the layup, and Katz just puts it into the net, no problem. 25 on Vassar. As there, Radovic tries to make his way through, and Luka Radovic uses that big frame, gets up there, and puts it in. Bombers 25, Vassar 25.
Luka Radovic, a little tornado spin move right there to the hoop. Nice 360, and Radovic ties the game.
Call him the Kreskill tornado. Is that one a deep 3? And what a shot by McAuliffe. A deep 3 finds its way into the net. Swish, 28-25.
That shot was from all the way from downtown Ithaca right there. It just finds the net.
He was on the Commons when he took it. Wendell now passes it back to the top. Still the Bombers moving it outside the arc. Moving it back over to Sikoriak. Radovic hauls in a tough pass, 11 seconds, goes for the 2. Misses, it's wrapped in again by Sikoriak. Radovic for 3. Bang! Luka Radovic all the way from 3. Bombers tied at 28.
Luka Radovic is on fire, and like I said earlier, mama, there goes that man.
Luka Radovic has been hot today, 14 points already. That is his second 3 of the day, and it ties this game up. Vassar contested back in the paint. Ball goes out of bounds, but there's a referee's whistle. And that'll give Vassar a free opportunity.
Luka Radovic, his first, team 4.
By the way, a beautiful shot by Radovich right before. And Zakoriak getting the rebound. Again, as I mentioned, winning the battle over the glass. Zakoriak getting that board, providing Radovich that chance.
Well, Jack Rothenberg gets 2. And the first one is perfect. Just nails it from the charity stripe. And that goes in, gives him a 1-point lead right now, as Rothenberg now has tied the team lead in points with 9. He's 3 for 3 on free throws.
Rothenberg making life tough for the Bombers, especially in the paint.
And he's now 4 for 4 on free throws. Leading 30-28 is Vassar. 3:57 here to go in the first half. Moving it down the near side is Zakoriak. Now he goes into the paint, tries to bully it in, and it does. It hangs up there, thinks, do I want to go in or not? And then it says eventually, yeah, I want to go into the net. Tied at 30.
Zakoriak goes crashing after making that bucket right there, but the ball dropping in the bucket. Game now tied. A back and forth game early on here, especially in the first half.
He hits off that movable net. The Bombers at the end of the year want to see that net raised for those extra stands, as in for layup, and it's ball pinballs, really. No one knows where that one was, as 3 from Mustafa finds the net, no problem. 33-30 Vassar.
And if you're the Bombers, you got to collect that rebound right there in your grasp, and it slips away. Vassar Mustafa getting a clear chance right there, putting Vassar up.
Radovich just misses that one, but Zakoriak regains possession for the Bombers. Now from the outside, back to Zakoriak, moves it back over to Spellman, misses, but a rebound, and a flying Zach Warwick makes a pretty poster, 32-33.
Zach Warwick like a hawk in midair, taking flight. Air Warwick right there.
2 minutes, 41 seconds. Bombers trail by 1 here in the first half against Vassar College in their first game of conference action. Back to the line from 3. Mustafa passes it in. Now back to the top of the arc, and it's drained. A beautiful shot by Zev Katz. Knocks it down, and it makes it a 4-point game.
Vassar, huge threes for them, back-to-back possessions for them, and they're answering. Vassar clicking from the three-point line.
Vassar hits from deep as Radovich has it, trying to be the answer for the Bombers, but he passes it in, and that time the smart play back to Warich, and it's a timeout made by Vassar as the Bombers starting to go on a bit of a run, or at least trying to make themselves go on a bit of a run. It's 36-34, 2:06 to go.
Radovich, beautiful pass right there, like little Luka Doncic touch right there, and Zach Warwick cutting from behind the back door, sneaking from behind the back door, and what do you know? Goes in right there, 36-34 Vassar, but a nice response by Ithaca, who is trying to keep themselves in the game here, especially after Vassar hitting those back-to-back threes.
Yeah, they've had to keep themselves in possession of this game without letting it get out of control, and so far for the Bombers, they've done a fairly good job of that, at least in the last minute or so.
Great job right there for the Bombers, but you need to defend. You got to get stops on Vassar, and you know the first three that happened for Vassar as well, and you got to recollect those rebounds. But Zakoriak on those previous possessions, keeping the ball alive. That's what the Bombers need to do. As I mentioned before, Tobiah, win the battle over the glass, not only on the defensive side but also the offensive side.
Well, Vassar will have the ball after the Bombers' points. It's inbounded to Mustafa, brought back over to Rothenberg, and I like to pinball it when they're behind that, mid-court stripe between Rothenberg and Mustafa. Their leader, Mustafa, passes it over there to McAuliffe, who gives it right back. McAuliffe has been dangerous. Mustafa has an open shot, doesn't go. Passes it all the way across, and a high pass reined in by Vassar. And an opportunity, but it's rebounded by the Bombers. Going the other way is Spellman. Spellman gives it out to Logan Wendell. Wendell tries to drive in, and there's going to be a whistle as he's knocked around, and he'll move his way to the line.
His second, team 7.
By the way, an impressive catch right there from Vassar. A little Odell action, stretch it back. However, Bombers able to escape right there, and Wendell now to the line for 2 shots after drawing a foul.
Wendell goes for his first, and it smacks right off the glass, a little high. So a missed free throw from Wendell. Now as he goes for opportunity number 2, trying to make it a 1-point game. That one goes in, clangs around, but the rebound effort. How about a little touch action from the Bombers, and we're tied at 36.
Logan Wendell missing both free throws, but Radovic able to get the rebound, tip it in, and just clean it up right there. Game tied now at 36.
He has the instincts in this one, has been Radovic. Now Vassar passing it around the top. Just north of a minute to play, 9 seconds on the shot clock. Moving it back, Mustafa has a shot, he moves in. Now 4 seconds, Mustafa passes it out, the Birds have to take a shot. Deep three, clangs off, misses, Vassar gets the ball again. Contested, moves it back to the top, and another deep three for Vassar, misses. The Bombers let it go out of bounds, and a crazy sequence by the Brewers nets them nothing.
And for the Bombers right there, they do get the ball back here, but you have to gather that rebound. You cannot allow Vassar, who can rebound the ball really well, as we mentioned at the beginning of the game, Tobiah, you cannot allow them to get another second chance. And the Bombers escape right there.
The top rebounding team in the Liberty League, showing why they're the top rebounding team in the Liberty League early, as the Bombers let that ball dribble as long as they can. Trying not to let the clock start until as late as possible. Sikoriak moves it out. There's a foul, and there's a whistle. They say that Spellman's foot was over the line when he receives the ball. He's out of bounds. It'll go the other way.
A mistake right there from Liam Spellman and the Bombers. A chance for you to take the lead. It just feels like every time the Bombers have a chance to take a lead or go on a run, either Vassar responds or the Bombers just make a mistake right there, and just can't do that.
As Vassar, 38 seconds on the game clock, 23 on the shot clock, a whistle goes, and it's going to be a foul again on Spellman.
In the foul, number 10, Liam Spellman, his second, team's fifth.
As on the near side from out by the outside line, Kevin McAuliffe will inbound the ball for the Brewers. He passes it over to Mustafa. 31 seconds, takes a shot and nails it. Nothing but net. And 25 seconds, the shot clock is off. No red up there. 20 seconds, the Bombers will have one opportunity to make something happen before the half, as they try and let as much clock bleed as possible. Sikoriak just passes it over to Wendell. Passes it back to Sikoriak. Sikoriak over the top. Radovic can't really handle it. 4 seconds, they're going to have to take a shot. Deep three, clangs off, the ball pinballs around, and as the clock strikes zero, a bad shot opportunity from the Bombers and a rushed opportunity keeps the score 38-36 as we go into the half. Dean, first half from the Bombers, what did you see from this team that really didn't let them take the lead despite the fact that they had all the opportunities ostensively to do it?
They didn't take advantage right there, and even like I said, Tobias, when they had the chance to lead, they just couldn't take advantage, whether it was turnovers, fouls, not getting the ball back, not putting the ball in the back of the net, and also not good shot selection right there, especially at the end. Not the best shot to take right there, and the Bombers need to do a better job of taking shots, need to win the battle over the glass, need to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net, take better shots, and on top of that, play disciplined and clean basketball. Do not send Vassar to the line, and do not give them the ball back.
Well, thank you, Dean. Well, I'll stay right here for the halftime show. Dean will be back for the second half coverage. Stay tuned. Halftime coverage of Ithaca men's basketball against Vassar with myself and Blake Katzman here on the Bombers Athletic Stream.
Things are looking to go down to the wire here in Ben Light Gymnasium as the score is Vassar 38 to the Bombers 36 at half. Welcome to the Ithaca Bombers halftime show. I'm Blake Cashman alongside Toby Zavore. Now, Toby, this game's been close, but for the Bombers, one guy who's really put his footprint on this matchup, it's been the Luka Radovic show.
Yeah, Luka Radovic, he's not only put his footprint on this matchup on the Bombers side, he's put his footprint on the matchup on every side. Luka Radovic, 16 points out on the floor. That's better than anyone else who's been out on the court on either side. He's put up 7 field goals for the Bombers. That leads the team, and Vassar, he would be leading there as well. 2 threes as well. If you're talking about an impact player for the Bombers, who's really been the big reason why they're still in this game. 5 rebounds as well. It's been Radovic. We talked, Dean and I talked on the broadcast about how important it was bringing the ball back from the glass, and for the Bombers to be winning in the margins and be winning rebounds, winning steals, and winning in those margins. Radovic is actively helping them, and while the Bombers haven't necessarily been able to keep up with this top rebounding team, there have been a lot of key rebounds they haven't been able to pick up. Radovic could easily turn the tides in this game and make it go the other way, where suddenly now the Bombers could be getting those key rebounds.
Toby, let's take a look at the Vassar deadly duo of Mustafa and Rothenberg. How they absolutely impacted the stat sheet tonight.
Deadly duo, I don't think that does them enough justice so far in this game. 10 points from Mustafa, 10 from Rothenberg, and even that doesn't really show how impactful they've been. Every time they get the ball, you have a feeling that someone is going to make a big play, whether it be Mustafa going for a deep three, or whether it be Rothenberg going for an even deeper three. He hit some really deep threes. Some, it almost felt like he was standing in Cayuga Lake and just taking that deep shot, making it go. Both players have had 10 points. Both have had 5 rebounds. Mustafa has been able to, just differentiate himself through field goals, 4 for 5 on the day, whereas Rothenberg has been 3 for 8, 0 for 3, 4 for 4 on the free points, though. Rothenberg, that is where he is killing the Bombers. He's getting up to the line, and he's getting those free opportunities, and that's actually what's given Vassar the lead. You take those 4 points away, they're down by 2 at the half. He's been, electric from the free throw line. If you're the Bombers, you have to clean up those fouls. That's going to play into stopping that deadly duo, is not letting them get to the line. You also look at, the minutes they've been out there. They've been out there a lot of time. You just got to wear them out. At this point, it's going to be, a bit of attrition on either side. If you're Ithaca, you can wear them out, and as we said in pregame, force them to play your style of basketball. The Bombers really haven't been forcing Vassar to play their style of basketball. I think in the halftime meeting, Coach Waleed Fareed had to be talking about changing how you're forcing Vassar to play.
Now, Toby, the Bombers have been absolutely lights out from 3 as their offense has been an absolute spark plug. Toby, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they've hit 4 threes so far in this game, and all of them have been pretty key. You've talked about a lot of them. The Bombers have just been absolutely electric when it comes to that part in this game. And you said the word spark plug. That's exactly what it is. They're providing the engine. They're providing everything that's making this offense move. They're bringing the energy, and that's what you want to see from this Bombers team, especially when you're down and when they've been down by 4 and when they've been down by a lot. Getting to that point where you are bringing energy and you're still showing that, hey, we got something left in the tank. The Bombers can't give up in that regard. They still have to feel confident shooting from 3. The only thing I would say they need to fix on that is, as Dean and I were saying on the broadcast, you got to slow it down if you're Ithaca. They have been taking a lot of opportunities where they've been running around the court and they've been trying to get the ball into the net as fast as they can after a Vassar point. You can't do that. You got to take your time, let the ball dribble down the court, figure something out, set up a play, make a shot from deep, and then let it work. When they're rushing it, they're not making good plays. They have to play their style of basketball, but they also have to do it in a way where they're not forcing anything, and right now they're forcing everything.
Toby, Vassar's defense hasn't just been good. They've been relentless. Their job on the boards has been absolutely unstoppable. Can you give us a little insight on that?
Yeah, Dean and I talked about winning in the margins. Vassar is winning in the margins, even if they're not leading in the rebound category, which technically the Bombers have 4 more rebounds than Vassar. Vassar is making more of an impact in the rebound column, and that's what matters more. You can lead in rebounds all you want, but you have to get key rebounds. There was one late here in the first half where the Bombers kind of let the ball pinball around and let Vassar take another shot that went in. If the Bombers secure that rebound and are able to take it down, we're looking at a completely different game at the half. I mean, this has really just been the key throughout. is key rebounding for the Bombers has not been their strong suit today. You also look on the other side. Vassar's defense has played really tight against the Bombers, and they've had a lot of their players available, and right on that mark, they're able to take something away and take those shots away from the Bombers, force them to move the ball outside, and force them to make a mistake. And ultimately, that's what you need to do if you're Vassar, and we said it in pregame. You got to make the Bombers make mistakes. That's how you're going to win, and right now, they're winning by forcing Ithaca to make a mistake.
All right, Toby. Well, the best way to put this game is it's been an absolute dogfight. That's all the time we have for the halftime show. I'm Blake Katzman alongside Toby Zariah. We'll send it back out for you for the second half.
We are back now here from the South Hill Ben Light Gymnasium for the second half. A battle of two Liberty League foes facing off against each other. The Ithaca College Bombers taking on the Vassar Brewers, the defending Liberty League champion Vassar Brewers. Dean Gutek alongside Tobias Zabore for the Athletic Stream. Tobias, what would you like to see the Bombers do for the second half?
Well, I'd like to see them clean up a lot of the mistakes they've had. Rebounding, the Bombers were having some problems getting, as I said at the halftime show, the key rebound. That's where they need to be fixing things. We saw opportunities there where they could get shots, or they could take shots away from Vassar, but they couldn't because they didn't rebound the ball. I'd also like to see the Bombers slow themselves down. Take your foot off the gas. It's okay. You can coast a little bit down this hill as we go down the stretch. Just don't gas yourselves.
And it's also about not only making mistakes, you cannot make mistakes, but also playing your pace, your style of basketball that the Bombers have to do here. And as for Vassar, and you got to keep winning the battle over the paint, and if you're Vassar as well. This game could very well come down to whoever wins the battle over the glass. And, you know, we talk about in football, there's winning the games in the trenches. In this type of game, it's winning the game over the glass.
Dean and you and I have talked a lot about winning in the trenches in football. Now we're talking about it in basketball. The Bombers, you're in your house. You're on the banks of Cayuga. You're not on the banks of the Hudson River. You can play your game at home, and I think that's going to be the biggest key for Ithaca is just playing your game and feeling comfortable out on the court. It's felt like so far on the hardwood, they haven't felt as comfortable as they could have been.
I'd have to agree with you right there, Tobias. We're going to get the second half underway. Liam Spellman inbounding the ball to begin this second half, and we are underway. George Zakoriak the third with the ball going up the court. Zakoriak to Radovich. Radovich finds Warwick. Warwick from the key. Warwick passing it now to Wendell in the corner. Wendell now to Spellman. Back to Wendell. Little hot potato right there. Wendell driving to the hoop. Wendell, little first step, but just doesn't fall through right there. And here comes Vassar the other way.
Yeah, it's been the story of the Bombers' night. They've gotten into the paint, made those shots, and just haven't fallen in.
Now here comes Vassar as Mustafa. Now the ball goes back to him. Mustafa in the corner, Wendell on him. Mustafa. Shot clock winding down. Mustafa trying to find a lane. Mustafa down to McCauley. McAulifley. And gets it to go.
And right there, Vassar speeds it up. but forces the Bombers to kind of gas themselves defensively. And, they've been slowing it down a lot by passing, but then just taking advantage of the opportunity.
As Luca down low, Luca. And the ball foul goes down right there. Spellman, a great find right there to Radovich. And Radovich able to put that ball home, 40-28 now, Vassar.
Call Radovich the handyman, because he can do it all tonight. He's been in the paint, and he's been putting it in from deep.
Now here comes Vassar, Parsons. And a travel is called right there. Bomber ball. And a costly mistake right there for Vassar. Let's see now if the Bombers can take advantage of this mistake.
Vassar has taken advantage of Bomber mistakes. It feels like at this point, if the Bombers want to win this game, they have to flip that script and take advantage of a Vassar mistake.
As Zakoriak steps out of bounds, and the Bombers turn it over right back. And a little announcer jinx right there.
The announcer jinx, unfortunately, it wasn't real in the first half. Now that I've moved over, apparently it's real again right there. Another Bomber mistake. As soon as you get the ball back, you have to clean those up.
Zakoriak tried to cut in and out right there, but just unable to as he steps out. Mustafa cutting to his right. Mustafa trying to get a move on Zakoriak. Mustafa to Ellis. Ellis out there. Ellis puts it up and it just falls home as Vassar now. Another bucket right there. And just the Bombers now need to respond, but they have to find a way to stop Vassar, especially when they drive to the paint.
Ellis had his lane and he took it, and there's nothing Ithaca could do.
As Wendell fires a three and it falls down. Logan Wendell from downtown. It is 42-41 now. Logan Wendell, a huge three for the Bombers right now, who need to start hitting their threes.
That was maybe the most nonchalant three I have seen tonight, or maybe in a long time of watching basketball.
And now here comes Vassar. McAuliffe. That ball doesn't go through. Here come the Bombers the other way. Warwick now from the left side. Wendell thought about the shot, doesn't take it. Wendell now takes that shot. Wendell, that one doesn't go through. Zakoriak in the air. Spellman to Warwick. Bombers get another chance here. Warwick doesn't get it. Wendell, and a lot going on right there, and a foul called right there. Not once, not twice, but three efforts. Logan Wendell like a hawk soaring through the air. Wendell.
A lot of action happened there, but Wendell does such a good job drawing that foul, going up, going down, and now we'll have two at the line. Wendell, he's 2 for 3 from the stripe so far today.
Now Wendell will shoot two. Wendell makes the first one so effortless, just like his three. Just so calm and laid back, and game now tied at 42.
It's like a day at a beach for Logan Wendell right now. He is just on it.
Wendell now. Second free throw. Makes it 43-42 Bombers now.
And a quiet lead for Ithaca. Really didn't see them making that comeback as fast as they did, but an amazing job by the Bombers just piecing it together bit by bit and taking their road.
Mustafa now. Vassar trying to respond back. Mustafa losing the ball, and it goes the other way. Great defense from the Bombers right there, forcing a turnover. And the Bombers need that right there.
And once again, one of those rare mistakes by Vassar. We've seen the Bombers not been able to take advantage. Now let's see if once again, we've said this already, can they flip the script? If the Bombers can do that, that is key.
Here comes Zakoriak. Zakoriak up the court to Radovich. Radovich to Warwick. Warwick from the top of the key. And that one doesn't go as Vassar getting the ball back. Bombers kind of rushed that play right there, but now here comes Mustafa. To Rothenberg to the paint, and Rothenberg just making it difficult for the Bombers, driving down the paint once again, going down the Bombers' throat.
Yeah, that's what Vassar has done a lot when they've, had to make those comebacks and get those few points. They just jam it down the Bombers' throat until the Bombers can't do anything about it.
Now here's Wendell. Wendell to the hoop, to the rack, doesn't get it to go, and Vassar getting it back. And it just feels like when the Bombers, when they do regain the lead, just the momentum goes back to Vassar, as here comes Ellis to the hoop, and denied by Radovich, and it goes off of Ellis, the tip. It is Bomber basketball. Great block by Radovich. He tells Ellis to get that stuff out of here, and the Bombers regain the ball.
And as you were saying, you were talking about momentum not really staying with the Bombers. That's what I like to call a momentum shifter. We'll see if Ithaca can actually capitalize on that.
And Luka Radovich with great defense right there. Get you a player that can do both on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. As Radovich regains the ball. Radovich. And a travel call right there. And announcer jinx of my own. And Vassar will regain the ball. Basket will not count because of a travel. Rothenberg now. to Katz. Katz to Rothenberg. Rothenberg to Ellis. Ellis on the outside to Mustafa. Mustafa going down to the hoop, and Mustafa misses. It rolls off, and he misses it. Now the Bombers with a chance here to take the lead. Wendell from deep, and he's got that. Logan Wendell.
He did him dirty. Logan Wendell, another key three from way down yonder. He puts that one down, and the Bombers now have a 2-point lead again.
Logan Wendell from the East Hill to the South Hill right there. A beautiful shot.
Just peppered it in.
Now here comes Vassar the other way. Liberty League champions trying to find a way to respond. Rothenberg. Wendell defending. Rothenberg. Denied, but a foul called right there. Just unfortunate. It is a block right there, excuse me.
His first, team's first. At the line, shooting 2.
Rothenberg will be shooting 2.
Rothenberg.
Bombers did all they could right there, but now Rothenberg will be shooting 2.
He's been their automatic 2 guy, 4 for 4 on the day, and make that 5 for 5.
The jinx doesn't work right there.
The broadcaster jinx works in mysterious ways. You can never really predict which way it's going to go.
You know, in a game like this, especially with a lot at stake, you definitely bet whatever way it goes. As Rothenberg will take his second free throw. Made his first one, 46-45 Bombers. Rothenberg makes both of them so effortless. And Rothenberg having himself a day, but he will now come out.
I guess they're going to give him a little bit of time just to rest on the bench, but if you're the Bombers, Mustafa's on the bench and Rothenberg is on the bench. Now is when you want to take advantage. When their top players are down, you got to strike.
And you have Wennerston, Radovich, and Wendell on the floor, and Warwick. This is where you need to strike, especially with Downing right there. Radovich down low. Radovich to Downing. Downing looking for Wendell. He's got Wendell. Shot clock winding down. Wendell out. Wennerston, and a blocking foul called right there. Wennerston will go to the free throw line. Ellis trying to take the charge, and unsuccessfully does so right there. And Wennerston will go to the field, to the line.
And Wennerston, the junior, what a smart move by him, driving in, going for the bucket, knowing that if he doesn't hit it, he's probably going to get 2 from the line.
And Wennerston now will get 2 from the line, as you mentioned, Tobiah. Good ball movement for the Bombers, too, no less. As Wennerston makes the first one, nothing but net.
He makes it look easy shooting from free throws.
Wennerston now will shoot his second free throw. Bombers regain the lead right there, 47-46. Wennerston misses the second one, excuse me, and another announcer jinx. Let's try to say make it look easy, but Wennerston misses the second one. Vassar now the other way. Vassar with a chance to regain the lead. Adams. Wendell defending. And now to Katz. To Ellis. Back to Katz. Katz to the hoop. Katz just makes it, goes through right past Wendell.
And Vassar has been bullying the Bombers in the paint like that all night so far. So far, nothing Ithaca can do defensively to really stop that. If they're going to want to win this game, they have to make a change.
Wennerston looking, finds Warwick for 3. That one doesn't go, and Vassar with the board right there. Bombers now a little bit cold. Going the other way is Vassar. And the Brewers able to draw a foul right there. Scott draws the foul. It'll be on number 21, Zach Warwick, on the floor.
Yeah, you talk about the Bombers being cold. They're 1 for their last 5 in field goals. They've been on this trend. Now 1 for their last 6 after they put the last one in. 1 for their last 5 threes. Just unlucky, you might say, from Ithaca.
And if you're the Bombers, try to get Luka Radovich more involved, but also try to add some spacing to the floor and get guys open right there. As Vassar not able to get the shot right there, but another chance right here for the Brewers. And losing. And the ball just doesn't rattle in. The ball, it'll be Bomber ball. That ball was pinballing. It doesn't rattle in like a lid was on the rim right there, Tobias. I mean, that ball was all over the place. A play that was undescribable, to say the least. The Bombers regained the ball.
Knocked around, knocked through. You couldn't even really see who had touched the ball last. Amazing job by the refs just figuring that out, and Bombers get that ball.
Radovich now, top of the key. Wennerston from the left side. Wennerston doesn't get it to go right there. Vassar with the board. Ellis now, fast break for Ellis. Ellis misses it. Downing now with the board, and here come the Bombers the other way. Wennerston. Warwick waits by, gets his man right there. Warwick says, now you see me, now you don't, sends him flying to the other side. McAuliffe putting it home, 49-48 Bombers.
McAuliffe ran down at full speed to stop that play going for Warwick, and Warwick just says, hold on a second there, buddy. Pump the brakes, hold your horses. And another timeout will be played, and yeah, Warwick just lets him go by, and then easy layup, uncontested, on an island of his own.
He said, wait a minute, stop right there, hold on, and puts it back up. Just a beautiful play right there from Warwick. Great awareness, great IQ right there. 49-48 Bombers right here. 13 minutes to go here in the second half. Vassar will get the ball back. And now for the Bombers, as you mentioned earlier, it's now about getting those stops and going on a run. And I'd have to say, Tobiah, from my perspective, whoever goes on a run here first could very well win this game. I mean, this is a back-and-forth game, a high-scoring college basketball game, to say the least.
Yeah, it's like they've been playing hot potato out there with the lead. It seems like no one wants to hold on to it. Whoever does have it just gives it right back immediately. It seems whoever, as you said, gets a good run and is able to sustain that run for more than about 2 minutes, they'll probably they could run away with this game.
Now both teams coming back onto the court right here. 49-48 Bombers lead. 13 minutes to go here in the second half. Now Rothenberg will inbound. Rothenberg. He does inbound. It's Katz. But now Mustafa has it. Mustafa going up the court. Mustafa able to go around Wennerston. Mustafa. Wennerston defending. Mustafa. Now to Rothenberg. Rothenberg puts it up and goes in. Rothenberg just bullying, a big bad bully in the paint right there. Vassar up by 1 again. A back and forth game. Now here's Jack Stern. And just horrible miscommunication right there. Stern tried to find Wennerston. Miscommunication right there between both players. A bad turnover for the Bombers. It'll be Vassar basketball.
Yeah, and he thought Wennerston was going to be a little further than the NCAA logo there on the court, but Wennerston had been stopped by a Vassar defender, couldn't go any further. Again, as you said, miscommunication on the Bombers could prove costly.
Rothenberg out now. And that one's good from Adams, wide open, a huge three from Vassar, and that cannot happen for the Bombers right there. Here's Wennerston, Warwick, Wennerston behind the back. Wennerston, another turnover and another costly turnover. First the miscommunication with Stern, and then the pass right there. 2 not so good possessions right there from the Bombers, and Vassar now with the basketball.
And you'll see Luka Radovich put maybe a bit of an emergency move there for the Bombers. Seeing this one, they don't want to let it slip away here. Radovich comes in, and off comes Warwick.
Here's Rothenberg now. Rothenberg up the court. Rothenberg to Adams. Adams. Downing defending him. Adams. Right now to Rothenberg. Rothenberg to the hoop, and a blocking foul called right there. I believe that is going to be against Luka Radovich.
Well, either way, it sets them up for 2 at the line. And for the Bombers, you cannot be having this kind of mistake at this point in the game where you are down and you're trying to get back in it.
You cannot afford to make these type of mistakes and let this game get out of hand. As Rothenberg makes the first free throw, Rothenberg has just been automatic from the free throw line. He's just been automatic in the paint. Everything going in right there for Rothenberg for the guard-forward combo. As Rothenberg misses the second one, but it goes off of Wennerston. And Vassar able to keep possession of the ball, and Wennerston makes a costly mistake.
Wennerston was too aggressive there. He saw the ball playing off. The first miss by Rothenberg, tried to get it back, but his being aggressive forced the ball back to Vassar.
And Wennerston, that's 3 possessions right there. It's just been not so good right there. And now Vassar with all the momentum right now. Mustafa, Adams, down defending to Mustafa. To Adams. Adams for 3. He is open, but that one doesn't go. Geschichter with the board. Geschichter, a touchdown pass to Wennerston to Stern, and Stern doesn't put it home. A wide open miss, but Downing gets it back, and Downing gets fouled going up.
Well, Geschichter was watching tape from last week's Ithaca Springfield game, tried to make a Wingfield to Osborne type of move, but right there the Bombers couldn't play it through, and they get lucky there that Downing was able to kind of make that foul go his way. They still get 2 of the line, but what could have been an easy layup.
And Stern missing another critical layup right there. Another crucial miss for the Bombers, but Downing with 2 shots at the free throw line. Downing misses the first one, and that miss could be costly down the stretch, especially right now.
In a 5-point game, it could easily be, and he may have been a bit shaken up. You saw the referee talking to him, and he was kind of doubled over before the shot. Don't know if he got a little banged up when he went up there and drew that foul.
Downing now missed the first one. Now taking his second free throw. Downing misses both free throws.
2 costly misses for the Bombers. Mistakes.
But Spellman regathers it. The Bombers get the ball back. Geschichter up the court. Geschichter to the hoop. Geschichter putting it home. And a huge bucket for the Bombers right there. 54-51 Vassar. In a game that could have been getting out of hand. Geschichter getting it back, but what a great play by Spellman from that defense. Great awareness, great IQ, keeping that ball in play. Geschichter going up the court and just driving down the lane.
Yeah, Geschichter's play was set up by that interception over here on the near side. They were able to move it back, and Geschichter, the kid from Gould Academy in Bethel, Maine, trying to be the main attraction out there on the court for the Bombers and get them back into this one.
I have to agree with you right there, Tobias. And that Stern miss, by the way, proved costly. Downing 2 missed free throws. Another thing we say, free throws, the name of the game. You have to make them when you get them, and just 2 costly misses right there. But luckily for the Bombers, Vassar turning the ball over and getting the ball back.
Yeah, it's in the name. It's called a free throw, and it's not called a free throw for nothing. You get a free opportunity, and for the Bombers, missing those is a real big problem if you want to actually stay in this game. They got lucky that Vassar wasn't able to capitalize off their mistake, because recently Vassar has been able to do that. They just got lucky, and they were able to intercept the ball, move it back for Geschichter, and he's able to put it up.
And Spellman, like I said right there, just great defensive play that led to that. Just great awareness right now. Vassar now will have the ball. Adams to Ruthenberg to Mustafa. To Adams. Adams defended by Geschichter. Adams with the ball. Great defense by Spellman yet again. Spellman ripping that ball away, saying, give me that, and just ripping it away, snatching it. Downing. Geschichter. And Stern gets fouled right there by Logan Scott.
And now it's about taking advantage of those kinds of fouls. You get the ball to inbound from the baseline, as Downing will get it. And the Bombers, a huge turnover again. Now, if you're looking to get momentum, here is where you got to start building it back up.
Ellis now coming in for Adams. Downing inbounds. Downing to Geschichter in the corner. Geschichter, the battle of the fours. Geschichter going to the hoop. Geschichter, no call right there, but Stern cleaning it up. He makes that one. It is now a 1-point game. No call right there. However, Geschichter doesn't make it, and Stern able to be right there and clean it up. Second chance points for the Bombers. And they travel now right there on Ellis, and the Bombers now have a chance to take the lead on this possession. A costly turnover for Vassar that could very well change the momentum of this game.
The Bombers now looking to get this momentum back off mistakes by Vassar. Now Vassar's starting to kind of trip over their own 2 feet, clumsily moving down the court there. That turnover gives the Bombers the ball on their own side.
Geschichter now inbounds to Downing. Downing. Bombers have a chance here to either get the 2 or go for the 3. They have a chance to take the lead regardless. Stern. Stern finds Geschichter cutting back door. And Stern, what a find to Geschichter. The Bombers take the lead. Andrew Geschichter starting to make a difference since he's came in. Bombers now up 55-54.
Yeah, the Brookline Mass native has not made much of a difference throughout the season, but right here making his name felt as the second half winds, as we have 9:58 on the clock.
Under 10 minutes to go in the second half, as you mentioned. A foul right there on Geschichter. Team's 4th, his 1st. And we will not get a substitution as the ball is in played. Zakoriak on the bench. Ellis to Mustafa. Mustafa to Ellis. Great defense by the Bombers by Geschichter. And here come the Bombers. Downing. Down the court. Radovich. to Spellman. Spellman to Downing. To Stern. Stern in the paint down low. Stern. Geschichter. Geschichter. Shot clock winding down. Geschichter to Stern. Stern. Turn around and put it home. Little 360. Shake, rattle, and roll. 57-54 Bombers.
Ball movement on point by the Bombers. They knew exactly where they needed to be, exactly where they wanted that ball to go. Everything now breaking the Bombers' way.
Almost 9 minutes to go. Bombers now up 57-54. Mustafa with the ball, goes past Spellman, and foul is called right there, even though Mustafa misses the shot.
They'll have an opportunity to get it back. The crowd now playing a bit of a factor here in Benlight. We're seeing all the fans here on the Ithaca side getting into it as they've taken now their current 3-point lead. We'll see what Mustafa is able to do at the line.
Mustafa will shoot 2. Vassar down 3. Mustafa makes the first one. That one rattles in. Zakoriak coming in now for Downing.
Downing has made his presence felt defensively, but now they want Zakoriak out there to be that offensive name, try and get some more points on the board.
Mustafa made the first free throw. Let's see if he can make the second. Mustafa misses the second one. Geschichter with the board. Bombers up 57-55. Zakoriak. Zakoriak down the court to Radovic. Radovic for 3. That one doesn't go. And that one will pinball around. However, that'll stay Bomber ball. A turnover from Vassar, and the ball stays with the Bombers. Stepped out of bounds right there.
Rothenberg was out. His foot was on the line when he brought the ball back into himself. And that's something where Vassar, the Bombers have made that mistake already tonight. Now it's Vassar making that mistake.
Zakoriak from the inbound. Zakoriak to Spellman. Geschichter. Geschichter to the hoop. Geschichter gets fouled, and the finish. Drop it in, put it on the board. Andrew Geschichter with the chance at a 3-point play. Andrew Geschichter is cooking it up here at Benlight Gymnasium. 59-55 Bombers.
What is it I said earlier about him trying to be the main attraction? The guy who went to high school in Bethel, and he's making his name felt here late in this game. And as the clock winds, he's making the Bombers' impact on the court.
Geschichter now with a chance here at a 3-point play. Geschichter at the line. Geschichter makes the free throw. 60-55 Bombers. Just a beautiful drive right there, Tobiah, from Geschichter, and just putting it in the hoop. Exactly what the Bombers need. 60-55 Bombers here at Benlight Gymnasium. 8:30 to go here in the second half.
You said
Mustafa.
Whoever goes on a run would have an opportunity. The Bombers now on their run.
Mustafa. Now to McAuliffe. Mustafa. McAuliffe. Back to Mustafa. A little hot potato action right there. Mustafa trying to drive, and that's just great defense right there by Spellman, but the ball will stay with Vassar. The Bombers trying to tighten up here on defense. 6 seconds left on the shot clock for Vassar.
Yeah, and for Spellman, you can reset the defense, get everyone in tight. You know Vassar's going to have to take a shot.
Vassar will inbound here, and he'll step out of bounds. McAuliffe steps out of bounds. It is a turnover. Bombers ball. Great defense right there for the Bombers, but also a costly turnover for Vassar.
Yeah, these are the mistakes that the Bombers were making in the first half, and now Vassar's making these mistakes. You can feel the tide turning. It almost feels like, as this goes on, these mistakes could turn into desperation from Vassar, and that's where you run into even more problems.
Zakoriak to Spellman to Stern. Stern. Bombers with the ball. Stern finds Geschichter backdoor, and great defense right there by Vassar. And Vassar, here comes Vassar the other way. And Geschichter just dangerous, trying to drive the hoop, but Vassar able to read that one perfectly. Rothenberg with a 360 spin and putting it home. Rothenberg, no matter who it is, just causing problems, causing havoc in the paint. Zakoriak now coming up the court to Stern. Stern. Vassar now will try to get some momentum. Stern to Geschichter. Geschichter for 3. That one will not go. And now here come Vassar. Vassar with a chance to either tie the game or make it a 1-point game. The defending Liberty League champs, heart of a champion, they don't go away. Mustafa. Little hot potato to McAuliffe. Mustafa to the right side. Radovic defending. To McAuliffe. To Katz. And now it is a tied game. McAuliffe buries that ball, and just like that, Vassar ties it. Back and forth game, tied at 60 or under 7 minutes remaining in the second half. Bombers going to try to regain the lead here. Zakoriak to Radovich to Stern. Stern trying to find somebody. Stern going to the hoop. Stern not able to make it right there. And now here come Vassar the other way with the chance for the Bombers to fall behind and the chance for Vassar to take the lead. Rothenberg, 360 spin. McAuliffe to Katz, to McAuliffe. McAuliffe to Katz. To Rothenberg. Shot clock winding down. Rothenberg. Great defense right there by Stern, the big body. Here comes Geschichter now up the court. Geschichter putting it home. Andrew Geschichter driving down the lane, speeding up down the highway and putting it home.
You know, there are times you got to slow down on offense, and then there are times you just got to speed it up. Geschichter knew he had to speed it up there, and he uses his fast break to put the Bombers back on top. No lead is safe here.
It is now a foul on Liam Spellman. That is his 4th foul, team 6th foul. Cannot afford to commit fouls right there for Spellman. You got to be careful right there. Your 4th foul. Bombers up to under 6 remaining here in the second half. You need to be careful,
yeah, and
especially
in
these type of situations against the defending Liberty League champions.
Spellman has led the team in steals, and he's been instrumental on defense. You have to have him out there in this very tight game where defense might be proving the factor.
Now here comes Katz for Vassar. Katz going down the hoop. Katz not able to put that one home, and that one will be Bomber ball. Just an ugly possession right there for Vassar. And the Bombers now with the chance to kind of build up on their lead again.
Yeah, that ball hit off the hands of Logan Scott, the junior from Schenectady, New York, home to Union College. Another Liberty League foe for this one. And now the Bombers, as they try and mount back, no lead has really been consistent today.
No lead is safe here at Ben Light Gymnasium. Radovich with the ball. Zakoriak to Spellman. Spellman trying to find lane to Radovich. Radovich in the paint. Radovich, no call right there. Radovich regathers, get the ball back, and a foul called with Radovich going up, and Radovich will head to the line for 2. Radovich lost the ball there for a bit. Thought there'd be a call right there, but no call. Foul will be on Scott. The team's 6th, his 2nd.
And you see Scott making his plea to the referee right at the line, saying that, no, I was in the right there, but it will not go his way. And Radovich, smart move, knowing he'll get the foul one way or another.
Radovich with the first shot. Makes it. 63-60. Luka Radovich thought there'd be a call right there, but regathers it and puts it up and draws the foul. As you mentioned, to by a great play right there from Radovich, draws the foul.
You know, he's such a smart player, and we've seen that all throughout the court today, using that brain of his.
Radovich misses the second shot. 63-60 Bombers lead. Mustafa. Up the court, Warwick defending. Mustafa. And a foul called on Warwick. Mustafa drawing contact right there. 7th team foul. It'll be on Zach Warwick. His second.
And that's
and Mustafa will head to the line.
And again, right move. We were saying the same thing about Radovich, less than 30 seconds ago when he was making those moves up the line. Now Mustafa gets that same opportunity.
Mustafa makes the first free throw. Mustafa and Rothenberg both automatic from the lines, despite the miss from Rothenberg. And Vassar just been very good from the free throw line. Mustafa makes the second one, 63-62, 1-point gain right here. Free throws are going to matter down the line as both teams, key for both of them is also make the free throws they get. Zakoriak to Warwick. Warwick gets fouled right there. That will be Vassar's 7th foul. Yeah, and Warwick will be going to the free throw line.
And right there, it looked like he had lost it for a second, and he tried to get back on it. As he was making that move to the ball, that's when the foul happened. So for the Bombers, they get kind of lucky there. A mistake that doesn't come back to hurt them in the least bit. And now a timeout just to settle everyone's nerves. 4:56 to go in this really tight game. Seems like this one's going to go right down to the last seconds.
Ryan Meek calling a timeout right there for the Brewers, and Bombers lead by 1. They will have 2 to shoot at the free throw line. Zach Warwick drawing the foul right there as he's going to the paint, driving down the lane, and pretty pretty chippy game to say the least, Abaya.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fouls, a lot of contact on both sides. You know, this is what happens when two really good teams face off against each other in a really close game. At the end, you're gonna get chippy. Both sides are gonna want to get into it a bit. And if you're Ithaca or Vassar, you're gonna have to limit that. You have to understand that no matter what you're doing, you can't let your emotions get the best of you. And in this situation, I think the Bombers and the Brewers have done a fairly good job of that. But right there, Vassar may have let their emotions get a little too involved on the play. And if you're going to win this game, that could be the difference.
It's about discipline, but also, like I said, winning the game in the trenches, not just winning in the glass and being more disciplined, making those free throws. Free throws are the name of the game, especially in a close game like this one. A 1-point game. Warwick will be shooting 2 now as we will be coming out of the timeout. Both teams out of the huddle. 63-62, Ithaca leads Vassar under 5 minutes remaining here at Ben Light Gymnasium.
And in a 1-point game, these 2 shots could be a huge difference maker.
Here comes Warwick. Warwick, first shot. Misses the first shot.
And Vassar thinks it was a 1 shot, but it was a 2 shot, and there's a lot of arguing going on both sides.
A lot of confusion on the other side.
And the refs are having a meeting. Confusion in Ben Light. We saw Vassar's coaching staff, especially Ryan Mee and Patrick Sestaika, come out there and instantly, as soon as that ball was blown dead, have words with the refs and say that no, the ball was supposed to be live.
And the refs right there having a discussion right here. Ryan Mee arguing that it was a 1-and-1.
Meanwhile, Waleed Fareed came out there and said that no, he does get 2. And he will get 2.
2 shots for Warwick. He missed the first one. Unsuccessful appeal right there for Vassar for me.
And he is still trying to appeal his decision. He is upset with the call and clearly frustrated right now with the referee.
And if I'm me, and let alone the Vassar team itself, you got to keep your emotions here. You do not want to have your emotions get the best of you, especially if it leads to a technical foul.
And it seems like there he's able to work it out.
So he's able to negotiate. 63-62 Bombers lead. Warwick will be shooting a second free throw. Jack Stern coming in for Luka Radovic.
And it looks like they're going to give Radovic just a little bit time to rest. They're going to want him for those last few minutes, and if you're the Bombers, you want him to be ready and at 100%.
Warwick will be shooting his second free throw. Warwick makes the second free throw. 64-62, a 1-score game here at Ben Light Gymnasium. Here come Vassar the other way. Mustafa now with the ball up the court. Mustafa. Now Adams with the ball. Adams to Rothenberg to Adams. Mustafa in the paint right there. A great move on Stern, but misses it, and it'll be Vassar ball.
And I think they said Stern got his fingertips on the ball as it was going out, as he tried to corral it in.
As a change will be happening for Vassar. McAuliffe coming in, and Katz coming out. As Rothenberg going inside, and a foul will be called on Stern. Rothenberg now 2 shots, a chance to tie the game here. Radovic will be coming in soon.
Yeah, and Rothenberg has been Mr. Automatic from the free throw line. He's 7 for 8 on the day. And the Bombers, they've let Luka Radovic fill up. It's like when you stop your car at the gas station when you get on the highway. You just want to make sure your tank's at full.
Rothenberg, first shot, makes it so effortless. But also creating problems right there, like I said, whether he's making buckets at the free throw line or just in the paint going to the hoop. Rothenberg has just been a massive problem going to the paint, and the Bombers just have not had an answer really to stop Rothenberg.
When he gets inside, he's been a thorn in the side of the Bombers, and right there again, tying the game. You cannot give him free opportunities like Ithaca has all night.
Heart of a champion, they don't go away. Vassar, they tie the game at 64 now. Radovic will inbound to Zakoriak. Zakoriak up the court. Geschichter coming in. Zakoriak finds Geschichter. Back to Zakoriak. Hot potato. To Geschichter. To Warwick. To Radovic. Radovic. To Warwick. Warwick. To Geschichter. To Radovic. A foul. And count it. Luka Radovic
uses his size and physicality there.
A blocking foul called right there. And a chance for a three-point play for the Croatian sensation.
Yeah, the 6'6" guard, using his size and his physicality there. Easily, you look at him, he's easily one of the biggest men out there on the court for either team, and he uses that to his advantage. And now he gives the Bombers a huge opportunity.
66-64 Bombers lead. Radovich with a chance at three-point play. He gets it. 67-64 Bombers lead. A huge bucket and one for Radovich. Radovich will now check out of the game. Jack Stern coming back in. Refill the gas station for Stern. You mentioned right there, Tobiah. And here comes Vassar now with the ball. Vassar now will try to answer. Mustafa with the ball up the court. Crowd chanting defense under 4 minutes remaining. Bombers trying to rally. Mustafa. Here's a three now. That one will not go. Rutherford with the rebound. Second chance. What's great play by Stern. Great defense as Warwick now comes away with it. And here come the Bombers with a chance to add on to their lead.
Yeah, Stern tips it into the hands of Warwick there underneath.
Warwick. Wennerston. Back to Warwick. Warwick. To Stern. Stern. To Wennerston. Wennerston. Gets to Stern. Stern able to bully his way and put it home. Jack Stern. Flex on them, young man. Flex on them, Jack Stern. 69-64. Count it and the foul. Jack Stern making his presence known. Luke Adams. Foul on him, his third, 19th foul. Jack Stern with the chance at a three-point play. Jack Stern putting it home and just flexing your muscles.
And is there any way you could get this crowd more fired up than what it just was here at Ben Light? Got loud for the Bombers, one of the most electric venues on the South Hill, or really anywhere in this entire Lakes region.
Stern missed the free throw there. Here comes Rothenberg now up the court. Rothenberg. Mustafa for three. That's a huge shot right there for Vassar. It is 69-67 Bombers lead. The missed free throw and then the three right there. A little 4-point swing. Just unfortunate sequence of events right there for the Bombers. Warwick now. Warwick. Wennerston to Stern. Stern trying to go inside. Stern misses it. And here comes Vassar the other way. Ellis. And Ellis drawing the foul. Ellis will be going to the free throw line. A chance here to tie the game just like that. No lead is safe here at Ben Light Gymnasium.
Yeah, I mean, you saw there Stern tried to use his size by the glass again, similar to how Radovich has been using his size pretty much all night, but right there doesn't pan out as we see Radovich come back on the court. Now a dangerous situation for the Bombers where Vassar could tie it up after you had such a huge run going.
Right there, Toby Stern and Wennerston coming out. Radovich back in. Radovich, Wendell, Zakoriak, Geschichter, and Warwick are the floor. Those five on the floor. Ellis makes the first shot. Ellis now will have a chance to tie this game up at 69. Ellis makes the second free throw. Calm, cool, and confident. Game tied at 69, just like that. Again, no lead is safe here at Ben Light Gymnasium. A back-and-forth game. Here comes Zakoriak to Geschichter. Geschichter to Wendell. Wendell with the ball. Wendell to the hoop, and Wendell putting it home. Rattle and roll inside. 71-69 Bombers lead. Wendell going to the hoop.
He didn't make that score look easy, but hey, 2 points is 2 points for the Bombers. It gives you that 71-69 lead.
Wendell falls, loses footing. The Bombers don't. And there's an unfortunate sequence right there. Fortunate right there for Vassar as Adams misses the wide open three. However, the Vassar did get the ball back. Luka Radovich fouling right there. Just a costly foul, and he got to regain that rebound right there.
Yeah, and Wendell just falls down. Lucky that that three doesn't go, but now you get Mustafa, who was dangerously quiet throughout here into the second half until now. More opportunities to make his name heard here on the broadcast.
Free throws are the name of the game. Mustafa now with the second chance to tie the game, and he does that. 71-71 here at Ben Light Gymnasium. Bombers with the ball. Radovich back to Zakoriak. Zakoriak up the court. Zakoriak. Here comes Zakoriak. To Warwick. To Wendell. Wendell to the bucket, and Wendell, and that will be Vassar ball. And Vassar now with the chance to take the lead. A costly possession right there, a costly turnover, a costly miss for the Bombers.
And the Bombers have been slightly too aggressive in the paint as we've gotten down the stretch in this one. Maybe if they felt comfortable with their lead, but getting into the paint like that, they're making mistakes, and that's kind of what cost them their lead initially, and now what could cost them the lead entirely.
Rothenberg. And now to Katz. Katz to Adams. A travel call, the costly turnover for Vassar. Back-to-back turnovers by both teams. You mentioned the Bombers being aggressive, undisciplined right there from Vassar. A travel called. Bombers will get the ball back with a chance to retake the lead with 1:52 remaining here in the second half.
Yeah, and if someone told you this was a disciplined game, they're not telling the truth because they're not watching this game. Undisciplined on both sides. It's just whoever can rein it in at the end might have the better shot.
Zakoriak. And a travel there right now. 2 travels in a row. Unfortunate for the Bombers now. 1:44 remaining. Turnovers are also the name of the game. You cannot afford for that to happen. Just an unfortunate sequence for the Bombers, who had a chance to retake the lead, but now won't get that chance back as Vassar now with the ball. Mustafa up the court. Geschichter defending. Geschichter defending Mustafa. Mustafa with the ball. Mustafa trying to create space. Mustafa to Adams. Adams, Zakoriak defending. Adams, little shot, and that one is good. What a shot by Adams. 73-71, Vassar leads. Warwick. It'll be timeout, Ithaca. A full timeout for the Bombers. 73-71, Vassar leads. A turnover, and then the shot right there from Adams. A beautiful shot from the elbow. And got to stay disciplined if you're for the Bombers, but now if you're for Reed, you have to draw up a game plan that'll work for the Bombers. And if you're the Bombers, you need to find a way to get good shots, knock down those shots, stay disciplined, do not turn over the ball or commit a foul, and get stops on the defensive side of the ball when you can.
Yeah, the Bombers can't make any more costly mistakes as we see Farid go to his whiteboard. Costly mistakes have kind of been the name of the game here as we got to the end. The Bombers had the ball off a travel in a tie game where they had the ball in their own territory, in the Vassar territory, and were driving towards the net. And then you make a costly mistake. You make a travel, you give it back to Vassar, and they take the lead. That's the kind of thing that could be the dagger in this game. And right now, it feels like at this point, unless the Bombers come up with something here late, they're going to walk away from this one in a really much more tough spot while the Vassar College Brewers will extend, they're going to try and extend that winning streak here.
For the Bombers, see what they got going on here. And Vassar showing the heart, the true resilience of a champion. That's what champions do.
Yeah, and they've really been without their top scorer, Zach Johnson. As we said in the pregame show, he's been sitting on the bench, one of their captains. But even without him, they're keeping this game close. Heart of a champion. There's a reason why they were the top team in the Liberty League last year, and a reason why coming into this year they were picked as the #1 team in the preseason poll in the Liberty League.
#1 in the preseason poll versus the #2 team in the preseason poll. Spellman now will inbound to Zakoriak. Zakoriak, 1:15 remaining to Wendell. Wendell to Warwick. Warwick to Wendell. Wendell looking for Radovich. He's got Radovich. Radovich will try to back in. Radovich turns the ball over. A costly turnover for Radovich. That ball just slips by him. Under a minute to go here. Vassar leading by 2. And that could be the dagger right there, but a costly turnover by Radovich. As here's Mustafa now. Mustafa, Wendell defending. Mustafa has the ball. Mustafa back to Ellis. Ellis. Here comes. Clock wind down. Ellis, a 3 coming up, and that one doesn't go as Warwick gets the board. A few seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Here comes Warwick. Warwick down the court. Warwick to Wendell. Wendell to the hoop. Wendell doesn't get it to go. Radovich with the board. Radovich putting it home with under 20 seconds to go. And Luka Radovich from Cresskill, New Jersey coming down inside and just cleaning it up.
Dean, what did you say his nickname was earlier? The Croatian Sensation. Inside, it looks like there the shot opportunity from Wendell misses. Right there, Vassar has an opportunity. If they rebound it and get a timeout, they are in a perfect spot. But Radovich goes up, gets the ball back, and right there makes the Bombers now tie the game. 19 seconds. Vassar will have an opportunity, though. Remember, the shot clock will be turned off, so Vassar will do their best to drain it down, run this clock out, and make one more shot that could really be the dagger.
Radovich with a huge rebound right there. Second chance points, as we mentioned before, Tobiah. Game tied at 73, under 20 seconds remaining here at Ben Light Gymnasium. And if you're Vassar, the chances, the key is to get a good-looking shot, but at the same time, you kind of want to wind down the clock and give the Bombers less time or zero time to work with. And if you're the Bombers, you need to stay disciplined. You cannot cannot cause a foul. You cannot do anything here. You need to play defense, and you need to get a clutch stop here.
No costly turnovers, and we actually just heard down there from Coach Fareed, we have one timeout. The Bombers recognizing the situation they're in, knowing that clock.
Bye-bye to the crowd, a buzzer beater. There will be no overtime at Ben Light Gymnasium. A huge bucket right there for the Brewers. The Brewers come into Ben Light Gymnasium and defeat the Bombers 75-73. A heartbreaking loss for the Bombers and a huge win for the defending champions in Vassar. And I mentioned second chance points before for Radovich. The Brewers getting a second chance point right there. Just an unfortunate ending right there for the Bombers.
Yeah, lucky opportunity from Vassar, and that second chance late touch at the very end keeps the Bombers from playing Hall & Oates at Ben Light Gymnasium here at the end of the night, as the Bombers men's basketball team drops to 500 on the season and loses a tough-fought First Liberty League game.
The Bombers played a good game, but Vassar just played better, and they got that important bucket at the end. Vassar now 4-1 on the season now, whereas the Bombers fall to 3-3. Bombers 0-1 in Liberty League play. Vassar 1-0 now in Liberty League play. Just a tough loss for the Bombers and a tough ending.
Yeah, I mean, the only number that matters at the end of the year is the one that's by Liberty League wins, and right there for the Bombers, a costly one if you want to get by, and especially if you want the tournament to be held at this gymnasium, you got to put those games up against those tough opponents, and right there at the very end just couldn't make it go against Vassar, but they will get one more opportunity at the end of the year.
They will. Well, that'll do it here from Ben Light Gymnasium. Stay tuned for the post-game show. Tobias Zabore, Blake Katzman here. Vassar defeating Ithaca 75-73, a tip-in buzzer beater, a cleanup right there, and a heartbreaker at Ben Light Gymnasium, but a shootout no less. Stay tuned for the post-game show.
All right, we're ready to go. Let's roll. All right, we gotta. Here, do you want me to do the intro? Because we gotta roll with postgame. It's fine. I can just ask me some questions about like the course of the game. Yeah, and I'll just go off with what I got.
What went right, what didn't, basically?
Yeah, I can walk us in, and then you start asking questions.
I have.
Okay, then you give your intro.
I can do that. My issue is like just things you gotta ask.
All right, honestly, just ask me general questions. I'll go. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Ithaca Bombers post-game show. I'm Blake Katzman alongside Toby Zavore. Now, Toby, it went all the way down to the wire, but a buzzer-beating tip-in helped Vassar edge out a 75-73 victory against the Bombers.
Yeah, right there at the end. A little bit of shades to last year in the women's basketball tournament when Horian from the other side on Springfield knocked down the Bombers season. Vassar knocking down the Bombers night there on that last second tip-in. There was some question about whether or not it was actually going to be counted. We saw Waleed Farid, the coach for the Ithaca College Bombers, a little upset with how that one ended, and he was certainly mad at the conversation and mad maybe at the conduct of Vassar on the other side as they waved goodbye to Ithaca and were a little bit animated at the end there. Some chippiness. You know, Dean and I had talked a lot about the head-to-head matchup between these two and how chippy they were getting at the end. That chippiness plays a factor here at the very end of the game. And I think when these two teams meet back up in November for the last game of the season on February the 18th in Poughkeepsie, New York, that's going to come back up. There's going to be a lot brewing between these teams. Remember, that's going to be the last game of the season, and in all likelihood, that could decide who gets to host the Liberty League tournament, at least if the preseason polls are right. So that chippiness could be well warranted, and at the end of the year, that chippiness really could come back in a big way. But yeah, we saw at the end a lucky tip-in for Vassar, an opportunity that the Brewers get. They get to go back to Poughkeepsie with a massive win. The Bombers, on the other hand, get to sit at home. They get a game tomorrow at home against Bard after this tough one. A tough loss for the Bombers. No Hall, no Hall and Oates, no making their dreams come true tonight.
Well, if we want to give it to anybody, let's talk about Avni Mustafa, who was absolutely clutch in those last minutes. Tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, Mustafa, I mean, as I said on the broadcast, he really hadn't gotten it going into the second half, and then something clicks. He turns a switch, he flips a dial, he does whatever he needs to do, and Mustafa makes his presence felt there on the court. Mustafa, as we saw out there, first half of the second half, really didn't do much. Then we get into the latter part of the second half, he's putting up points. He's getting key free throws from the lines. He's also getting rebounds. He led the team in rebounds on the day with 10, and we talked about winning the game on the glass. That's what helped them win the game on the glass. He ends up putting 5 field goals, 18 points, 5 for 6 from the charity stripe, 3 for 3 on the three-pointer. If there's any one man who kind of downed the Bombers' game at the very end of tonight, it was Avni Mustafa, and he played incredible. But on the other side of Vassar, there were also some other players that made their presence felt. Obviously, Jack Rothenberg, he made his presence felt throughout the game. 21 points, led the team, 6 field goals, 9 for 10 on the free throw line. The Bombers gave him free points, and that really was costly for the Bombers. If you take away some of those mistakes, some of those penalty shots, all of a sudden you maybe make it in Ithaca more of a balanced game, and we might be talking overtime, or we might be going into a little bit more detail about, a post game, or if a Bombers win. But things didn't quite work out for Ithaca. Kevin McAuliffe, he made some big plays, a lot of deep threes that he had towards the end. He went 4 for 6 on threes. That led the team on the day. And look, defensively, Vassar didn't defensively dominate, really. For the Bombers, that was their worry coming into this game, and we talked about it in the pregame show, how the Bombers' worry was going to have to be defensively locking down and making sure that they don't beat you defensively. That doesn't end up being a problem. So for Ithaca, now you have a little bit of tape to look at for the end of this year, but also you have a little bit to think about as you move on again. You have another opponent coming up in Bard at home. That's a game that ostensibly the Bombers should be able to win, and then you have to go to Rochester for a non-conference game. You have Hamilton at home after a long break. After Bard tomorrow, you don't have another conference game until you go to Troy, New York to face RPI on January the 7th.
Well, a bright spot for the Bombers, and we've talked about him all night. It's been Luka Radovich. He was absolutely the man for the Bombers, and although they didn't notch off the win, he was electric.
Yeah, if there's anyone on this Bombers team who you can look to and say he had a key game, it was Luka Radovich. I mean, Radovich was, one of the key players coming into this game. We said throughout how Radovich was going to have to be the spark plug for this offense, and in this game he turned out to be at 24 points. He went 10 for 17 on the field goal, 2 for 5 from the three-point line. That led the team. He led the team in points. He led them in field goals. He had 7 rebounds. He used his size and physicality to pull the ball back and dominate the game that way, a block as well. 33 minutes out on the floor, led the Bombers. He spent the majority of this game out there on the court. You talk about a guy using his size and really being the dominant figure on the court. Radovich is one of the bigger men on this team. He's 6'6". He's really tall. He's got a lot of physicality to him. The Croatian sensation. He's able to go up there. and he used it throughout this game to get around the defense or bully the defense in the paint. And towards the end of the game, that started to make a factor when the Bombers went on a bit of their run. They needed Radovich to make those plays, and he absolutely did. The key now is for the Bombers, when you go into these key kind of games, getting a little more production from the rest of the team. Logan Wendell did have a good day, but I don't know if I would say he was the key producer that he needed to be. 14 points. You also look, Leon Spellman, 4 personal fouls, a little bit dangerous in that one. That could have been a huge problem for the Bombers, as they kind of needed his aspect out there on the court. Gesteicher made his presence felt, kind of the main guy. He went to Bethel, Maine for high school. He had some presence out there on the court, but the main attraction just couldn't make it happen at the end.
Well, the Bombers fall short 75-73. That's going to do it here from Ben Light Gymnasium. I'm Blake Cashman alongside Toby Zavora, signing out.